Have you ever wondered how climate change, water quality, and engineering shaped the city of Boston? Well, I've got the perfect museum for you. Welcome everyone, my name is Gianna Marie. I am a museum professional and I love museums. And the goal of my channel is to share the amazing diverse types of museums out there, the different missions that they serve, and the communities that they engage with through film and media. And I hope you all will join me and love museums as much as I do. So we do a lot of museum visits on this channel, and during a visit there are some basic things that I look for. 1, I check their website. 2, I check how easy it is to find tickets. 3, I check how easy it is to get there. 4, I check out the galleries and the ways they engage with their visitors. And lastly, I check out how the galleries support the overall mission of the museum. I do some other things too, like you check out their gift shop, you check out some of the stuff that they do maybe outside of museum hours, but in general, I tend to focus on what the daily operations of the museum look like. And then at the end of our visit, I will score the museum out of 10. So with that in mind, let's get started. Now before we even get to the museum, of course we have to check their website first, so let's go. So there is a navigation button right at the top and you can clearly see their mission displayed right there on the front page, and there is a banner at the top to give you any alerts, like if the museum is closing, if their COVID protocols have changed, which is always great because the home page is usually where you start. So we're gonna just scroll down here, navigation right there, we're gonna go to visit. So on the visit page immediately we can see that admission to the Waterworks Museum is free. Woo! Free Boston museums are out there, you just have to look for them, and this is one of them, which is great. Everybody can come. And let's see, we've also got hours of operation, directions, both by your car and by public transportation, 100% support. Let's see, we've also got parking, great, and accessibility. I love how they really open communication there. And online store coming soon. Well, I think that hits everything on the head. I like that all the important basic information is all in one place. And it's easy to find. I don't have to dig through tons of links to find it. And as a museum navigator myself, this is really easy and it makes me look forward to visiting the museum. So let's put the phone down. Whoopsie. And let's go to the museum. I would also like to add that my best friend Harry and my loving brother Vince joined me for this museum trip as well. The Metropolitan Waterworks Museum opened as a high-service pumping station in 1887. It served to provide Boston with 8 million gallons of water a day. The Waterworks Museum touts a pair of 3-story steam engines as their main highlight, and they offer both in-person tours starting at $20 and audio tours. I won't be taking an in-person tour today, however they do have a QR code for the audio tour in the lobby. Now comes the fun part, visiting the museum. Here, I'm going to look at the museum's collection and how it helps to reflect the museum's mission. The biggest highlight, of course, is the Great Hall of Engines, so we'll start there. So there was a different description for each engine, and the first one we visited was the Leave It engine. So these both have text that you can read as well as videos that you can watch. So we watched one about how water was distributed from the reservoir to the city, and we also found larger interpretations just like this one throughout the museum. So the water theme was quite apparent as we were surrounded by diodes, pipes, tools, other types of gear, steam valves. It felt very immersive, like we were there to work, not just to view it. So Vince and Harry scouted ahead while I was filming, and they found a place called Touch a Wrench. So I had to get on that and touch a wrench. Those things were heavy and they were used to maintain the machine, and they were incredibly long too. It's as long as your arm, Vince.
I know.
We We also had your standard items inside of glass cases, something you would expect to see at a museum. We saw different ones at each station, like a viewfinder by the Alice engine, which we will get to in just a moment. So next to the Leave It engine was the Worthington engine, and there was a slight space between all three engines where we could sort of stand and get a good 360 view of all of them. There were also TV screens above our heads that showed close-up images of each individual engine, which I thought was really cool. Then we made our way towards the Alice engine, which had this really cool video where you could see the actual steam engine doing its thing, and scene selection could be done by turning a knob and a valve instead of pushing a button, which would delight any child, or in this case, Harry. So this surprised us because we walked right past this secret door. Shh, don't tell anyone about it. So we had to, of course, make very dramatic entrances into this secret room to see what was inside. So comment down below, who do you think had the best secret room entrance? Harry, Vince, or me? I think it was Vince. So this really tall room was called the screen room, and it used to be filled to the brim with water. And it would have this giant screen that would catch debris out of the pipes. Now, instead of having it filled with water, of course, they instead put in this timeline where you can learn about the history of the museum and add something new if you wanted to, which was really cool. I thought it was really interactive. You could really be part of the museum, but it looks like they took away the markers because of COVID. So we went upstairs afterwards to check out the special exhibit, Fire and Water, which was about the Great Boston Fire. So at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by a fireman's jacket, and when you get to the top, to your immediate right, you will see a very small alcove, which has some historic pieces of information about firefighting in Boston. You also got a nice view of the reservoir from out the window. Now, despite this space being kind of small, there were still really cool things that you could check out, like there were some pieces of memorabilia like this fire department game, and there was a really cool old photograph of firefighters in Boston. So the exhibit itself was about the size of your standard conference room, but it did have floor-to-ceiling windows where you could get a bird's eye view of both the Alice and the Leave It engine. Leave It being closest to us, Alice being the furthest away. So they set up the exhibit in chronological order, starting with early Boston firefighting, which included some cool pieces of memorabilia like this bucket, these reins that would be attached to a fireman's horse to pull the carriage, and some of these really cool antique firefighting hats. During the Great Boston Fire, there were a lot of fire units that were called in from other cities. However, their hoses didn't necessarily fit the hydrants that belonged to the city of Boston, and this interactive piece reflects that. So you're supposed to attach as many nozzles as you can in the shortest amount of time. It was a lot harder than it looked, but it was to teach you what sort of caused a good deal of delay during the fire. This exhibit also has word searches and coloring pages for younger children. They also had a whole bunch of manipulatives like gears and these blocks where you could build an arch. And don't worry, there was hand sanitizer and wipes everywhere. Now this was hands down my favorite part. Somebody programmed a game. You heard me right, a game for this exhibit. So you hit the space bar and you have to shoot water to put out the fires, and it played ragtime music in the background. And if you get more points, you get to be on the leaderboard. And it just impresses me so much that someone would put so much time and love into making a game just for this exhibit. Vince really wanted to get on the leaderboard. Exit through the gift shop. Yes, this is a segment I like to call Exit Through the Gift Shop because you know you gotta do it every time you visit a museum. So this is a glass case which features some of their merchandise. It is located near the bathroom, so it's not a store in the formal sense, but you can still purchase these goods in order to support the museum. So, how does the Metropolitan Waterworks Museum rank? First and foremost, I thought their website was super easy to navigate. It was very direct and knew exactly where to take their website visitors. I felt very informed and I felt very comfortable with the information provided for me. Number 2, admission is free. You can't go wrong with that. Free admission, museum, you are bound to have a good time. Number 3, getting to the museum, super easy to do. I drove my car, I parked on the street, and we walked in. Despite it being rainy, which is common in Boston, it's either rainy, freezing snow, or super hot, nothing in between. But besides that, it was really easy to get to. You could take the train, you could take your car. Easy to get to. The layout of the museum I thought was accessible. There was an elevator to get everybody to the second floor if they needed it, and I really liked how you're able to see each steam engine all the way around on all 4 sides. The ceilings were really tall, your voice would echo a little bit, and it's actually, for the small museum that it is laid out really well that it is easy to navigate. Being able to see their mission on their website really helped inform the rest of my journey, and I was really excited the second I got to the museum to see all the crazy, amazing interactive exhibits, the knobs, the gears, the wrenches. It was all so amazing. You know, even as an adult, I love it when I can touch things. And there was hand sanitizer at every turn. Everyone was wearing masks. We felt really safe visiting the museum. And that little secret room, oh my gosh. I saw that from the other side. I was like on the other side of the museum, and I just saw this door, and I pointed, and I went, secret door. And the second floor, I think would have been a great place. It's quiet, it's an easy place to take your kid, and it still doesn't take away from the experience. I loved the layout of the Great Fire in Boston and how the timeline was in chronological order. And that game, Vince was dead set on getting on the leaderboard, and so was I. We thought we got gypped multiple times, but then again, it's just a game. But how many museums really do that kind of thing? They create a game for their exhibit. It's just a whole other level. And again, hand sanitizer was everywhere. So I felt clean, I felt safe. There were coloring books up there for children to use. They had these little firefighter badges. I imagine if my cousin brought her 2 little boys, she would love it. They would love it. And the crayons were individually packaged, so you know they're clean. Now, overall, I think that the exhibits really did help highlight water quality and engineering, which is a big part of their mission. And it's to my understanding that they're going to start incorporating more things like climate change. I didn't see as much climate change as I thought I would, but it's my understanding that it's still kind of being integrated into their mission, which I'm really excited to see. Overall ranking of the Metropolitan Waterworks Museum, I give them a 10 out of 10. No questions asked. It's a free museum. It's really easy to get around. It's super accessible. It's so fun and educational, and it is really, truly a piece of history that is worthy of being 10 out of 10. And I hope you see this video and you check out the Metropolitan Waterworks Museum too. So that's going to do it for this video, you guys. Metropolitan Waterworks is indeed a 10 out of 10 and more than worth the trip to go out and check it for yourself. If you would like me to visit another museum within the confines of New England, I'm not about to jump on a plane to California anytime soon. But if there's a museum in Boston that you want me to visit, do feel free to leave me a comment below. What would you rank the Metropolitan Waterworks Museum? And of course, everyone, there's going to be plenty of more videos like this to come, so please like and subscribe so you can catch up on all my fun museum visits, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, take care.